But it works for me because anything I need for film, I build teams. So I work with a lot of different people, and once they made me executive producer from that movie, I was like, okay, I have an ability to do this because I can get anything done. I can get whatever cameraman, different cameras, I can get everything I need. Directors, doing a documentary out here also, which I had one direct, I changed for another one. We just had to put that on hold because we finished a big film, Bare Knuckle Brawler, with Danny Trejo, you may know. John Bianco was a resident out here, originally from Brooklyn. William DeMeo. These guys have done and been in other films. Joe D'Onofrio and William DeMeo were both in a movie we did before. It's called The Breaking Point. And they were both in the movies that you'd be familiar with. Joe D'Onofrio was the young Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. We talk about Italian film. And I want to ask you guys questions if you have any for me, because I can just keep going on and on and on. But these guys are friends of mine, and I've seen them get into these films, and just by a lot of times showing up. Joe D'Onofrio was found breakdancing, and he did some commercial, and then he did Goodfellas, and from there he was in The Bronx Tale also. His character is Slick. And William DeMeo and John Bianco have been in The Sopranos, another very popular series that you may be familiar with. And now William, besides that, he has his own project that we did together called The Neighborhood, about Brooklyn back in the 80s and flashbacks to the 60s. He's paying tribute to sort of where he grew up in the Italian culture and sort of how it was. I mean, if you read the script, I know the names have changed, but I know who those people were from growing up in a neighborhood which had a very big presence of the mafia. The year before, he did, back in the day, a film with Alec Baldwin, Michael Madsen, Sharon Doherty, Danny Glover, Mike Tyson. So that was also showed how the mafia had a stronghold at one time, and it changed over time. It doesn't exist anymore, And in these films like Goodfellas, and they some people will say, how do you glorify this villain, because we have the film Gotti coming out now, December 15th, where John Travolta plays Gotti, and my friend William DeMeo plays Sammy the Bull. There's some articles that are positive, and there's some articles that say, how do you glorify a villain? But I don't look at it as glorifying anybody. It's a story being told. I mean, it's the oldest thing known to mankind. When cavemen were on campfires, whatever language they were speaking, they were telling some sort of story, I'm sure. It's the most important thing, and the ability to be an actor or to be a writer, to create something out of the air. It's to me the next best thing to being God. And I'm not a religious person necessarily, but I believe we all come from the same source. We have this tremendous power inside of us, this desire to do something. You wouldn't have the desire if you weren't capable of achieving it. So this ability to create, if you're a writer, you're creating a story out of the thin air. The director's then taking the story, putting it up on the screen, and the actors help telling that story, which in some cases, some of the worst stories can save a life, to the viewer when they realize, okay, maybe I should stay away from this type of guy, or someone's acting like that. It really gives you more insight, and the ability to express ourselves and the freedom to do that is a gift. And I'd like to ask some questions. I'm not sure how many people here are actors. You raise your hand. Okay, good. Makes two of us. We need more of you guys. But everyone has a purpose. Even if we have in our films, we have principal actors or speaking actors, we also need backgrounds. It's like having a one-man band versus a symphony. It doesn't work without more people. So anyone can be a background actor, and I've seen people upgraded from that position and maybe find something they like to do. How many people here are, I'll just say filmmakers, because I could say cameramen, or I could say directors or writers, or does anyone fit in any of those categories, or is this just, okay, what do you do?
I write.
You write, great. We need more of you. Write good stories, and stories being told. The whole thing is there's a lot of good writers out there, there's a lot of good actors out there, there's a lot of good directors out there, and whether they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the money to pursue, their dreams, I'd like to be able to bridge that gap and give everyone an opportunity as best I can. I love connecting people. You never know, You may not be good at raising money for your story, but someone else I know is, and you can get that story told. Anybody's, what else?
I would just like
one of my favorite movies is Goodfellas.
Okay.
I think it's one of Scorsese's best movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shown that in my class and taken it apart. And so not to reflect Italian Americans, but to reflect the world, how society, what people have done for zillions of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can take that and analyze it, and that's a beautiful thing to do. You're teaching a bunch of people that. All right.
You should talk louder. They're
I'm
not
sorry.
going to hear you. They're not going to hear you.
I'm not a loud talker.
Do you want to start the mic?
I'm a loud talker.
Hello. Am I on stage? No. Anyway, I was saying that Goodfellas is probably one of Scorsese's best movies, and I showed it in class, and it wasn't just about showing an Italian-American movie, but rather a society, and, you know, analyzing it, and what does it mean not only just to our community, but to the world, the worldwide community. So films are great for that, they really are, and analysts are good too.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody have any question? I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, they showed a picture of Frank Vincent, and I just got emotional because not only do I know him, he just recently passed away. He was in Goodfellas. Go get your shine box, he tells Joe Pesci. He just recently died, and I know his son, Tony Vincent's a stunt coordinator. So you end up getting to know, it becomes your family when you work a lot with people. And he was a great actor, you know, and we lost him. And you know, it's good, right, that we have him in films like that people could remember from time. Do you want to speak? Yes.
I'll talk a little bit louder.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Lena Merlino. I'm a physician. I'm a pediatrician in adolescent medicine. So it is wonderful to see these group of students here. I went to Notre Dame College, which was a tiny little girls' school here, then became St. John's University. It was a tiny little girls' school, all girl. And then, luckily enough, I went to medical school in New York City. Here's this little girl from a girls' school. And actually, most of our courses here were not scientific at all. And I had to compete with all of the Ivy League kids in medical school, many of which were not Italian descent. You're talking about the 50s. And in those days, you saw very little Italians being honored at the time. When I was a little kid, many years ago, and I'm an original Staten Islander, which is really a very large Italian population borough, Italians were not very well accepted. Let me just tell you, they were not well accepted. So I think this is wonderful to have this and to tell you to be proud, no matter what nationality you are, to be proud of your heritage. And when people ask me if I'm American, you know, I've traveled around the world, and if you're an American, I say I'm an Italian American. Of course, we're all Americans first, but you have to put in that Italian American and be very proud of that heritage. And I find it you missed a lot of people. That's a wonderful DVD that you had. What about Melissa Tomei? I mean, what about Sophia Loren? Even though she's Italian descent, imagine an Italian winning an American Oscar for a film. You know that, of course. She won American Oscar for a film. And I saw her at the St. George Theater recently, within the year, at Sophia Loren in person. So I mean, when I heard she was there, of course, I went immediately to see her. And then last night on Channel 13, and of course, I'm sure many of you have seen Andrea Bocelli, okay? And it was a concert that was from 2 years ago, actually, but it was on Channel 13 last night. And I found it, I didn't see the whole thing. I missed a part of it, only saw the end. But I was amazed to find out that and it was about theater and songs in the movies. Did you see it last night by any chance? It was, his whole program was about the songs in movies. I can't remember the exact title, but that's what it was. And I found it very interesting that a lot of the songs he ended up singing, which were the American songs, in Italian, even like Love is a Many Splendid Things. All of a sudden I hear him singing the Italian, a part of it. So I think this is just absolutely wonderful. And I'm very proud of you. And the other thing I must tell you, that Mrs. Yamin, you forgot to introduce me, I am on the board of the Italian Cultural Committee. Okay, and one of the things is having projects like this and encouraging the young population to fight for it. So I'm going to ask one more question. I don't know what they said. Why are they going to take down Christopher Columbus's statue? Okay. Do you know the reason why?
It's a crazy world. That's my reason. That's my
Are we going to fight?
Are we going to fight? Yeah, well, let's start signing a petition. I mean, this.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, on my take on that, years ago, a lot more people would protest in the '60s, and when they do it now, it's just not the same. It does not seem to have the same strength. I don't know what that reason is, but I would say it's better to definitely, in unity is strength. So if you write a petition, something maybe that would
Well,
help.
I'm so worried that he was such a tyrant to the people, et cetera, et cetera. What my question is, what about everyone else who killed the Indians, whose native land this was?
Yeah.
They were not worried about that at all. The poor Indians, this was their country, and every nationality that came over here slaughtered them. All the cowboys, and they make heroes out of the cowboys,
Yeah, once again, I
slaughtering
think
the
it's
Indians. And here, poor Christopher Columbus statue is going to be torn down.
The
That's
squeaky wheel
history.
gets the grease, so that's, if we squeak enough, maybe it'll make a change. That's just my experience. I like to talk from my personal experiences, and I want you guys to, because I didn't know I was going to separate groups, filmmakers, this, that, the other. But I don't know who's here, so feel free to ask any question. I'll answer to my best of my ability. Hi, yes, you.
What do you think was your biggest challenge in switching careers and becoming a filmmaker?
The biggest challenge
Yeah,
from switching careers, fear. And there's an acronym, and I won't curse, but it means F everything and run. Right? So you have this fear, and you run, or even worse, you get paralyzed with fear and you do nothing. So if I'm not happy in my job, and I'm not doing anything to change, it just, to me, in my experience, is more of a spiral down. You could get into depression, a bunch of things by not moving. So it's like move a muscle type of thing, change of thought. So you do your research. Definitely, I looked into different things. It's not any easier than the other job I've done, and it can be harder, longer hours. But I love what I do. That's the difference. I wasn't loving what I was doing when I worked on Wall Street. I was very unhappy. I didn't fit in with these people. I didn't do what they did, and a lot of these guys, what they did, they went to jail for, So I was basically forced out of it because I wasn't that type of person, and I went to school for health sciences, and all of a sudden I'm healing people through massage or helping them or personal training, and I was helping people, so I immediately felt better about myself, And I still had to hustle. I still, ran around my massage table and going to people's homes in Manhattan. I was living in Manhattan from 1994 to 2012, and running around and really hustling to make money. But the massage and the personal training, working privately with people, gave me the ability to still go on auditions and things, which I always wanted to do. And then I literally then started taking classes and doing other things that it's a lot of work. But at least if you're gonna work hard, you might as well do something that you love. But there's a lot of fear, and you just gotta remember that's not, it's really not real. I heard this other thing about fears, that the only two fears that are real is when you fall down. Like if I just fell right now, it would be a fear, right? A real fear. I fall, I'm trying to brace myself. The other one's if some gun or some loud car backfires, we'd all do this type of thing. That's the only two real fears that exist. Everything else is manifested in our mind. So it's really just a way to train your mind to be positive and not give in to the fear of thinking, okay, in the past it didn't work, or in the future I may not have enough money. It's like the only thing you could change is like right now, So it's really about just staying as much as you can and now, do as much as you can today to work towards that goal, and then those compound over time, and then you build up more confidence and stuff. Just my experience. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions or anything? Like, what do you guys do? Not all filmmakers here. Listen, I'm shy, but you can't.